Well, welcome to Go for Lunch number 54. This is the after tax day edition of Go for Lunch. And I might say, Go for Lunch, where are you? Who can tell me what that reference is? That's kind of going way back, way back. So glad to have you all here. If you are new here, please type new in the comments so we can get to know you. And if you are new here, you may not realize that I am Roger Harmon with GoFor Technology. So we got an exciting program here for you if you think bookmarks are exciting. And Bob is kind of stealing my thunder here. Maybe we can help you with getting rid of those old bookmarks. And it's always good to have the Phil and Phyllis show with us. So glad to have you guys here. Let's just jump right in, as they say in YouTube land, and talk about bookmarks. So bookmarks are web browser placeholders. That's what we're going to talk about today. And again, here at GoFor Technology, we make your technology work for you. And that's exactly what we're going to do today in the case of bookmarks. A bookmark is a link to a web page that you save so you can quickly revisit that page later. So hopefully that gives you kind of a context for what we're talking about here. So let's ask, who needs a bookmark? So the reason I asked that question is because, as you may have realized from using your browser, when you type in a letter, for example, you type in A. If you've been using Amazon, you get Amazon with one little letter, A. So that's nice because, old Safari and the Apple system is trying to help you out. So by just typing a few letters, you can get to where you're going if you've been there recently. But here's a little tip. While you're typing, you want to be looking at the screen as you are typing, because those suggestions will pop up, and in bookmark land and in almost any kind of search, less is more. So you'll get your results by typing just a few characters. Many times if you type like a whole phrase or something, you may overshoot the search criteria and you won't end up with anything. So watch the screen while you are typing. So as I mentioned, the websites that you frequent will automatically pop up with just a few characters. But sometimes that's not exactly what you want. So we're going to show you an example of that. So here we are on Safari. Now first, I want you to know that I have made this as large as I can. And I know it's still not as big as I would like. I've tried to use the magnifying features built into the Mac operating system, and this is as big as I can get it. I'm going to work on some other ways to make things larger in future programs. So here we are in Safari, and if I simply go up here to the URL field, and you'll notice that this is highlighted. You can see a different color blue in the background. So this is an important tip. Everybody wants to go and delete this. You don't have to delete this. When it's highlighted like that, you just start typing and what's there will go away. It's almost like magic. So I type in A. And up pops Apple. Well, obviously I would have been to Apple recently because that's the page I'm on right now. So that's what comes up. What happens if I type an M? Well, there's our old friend Amazon, who we all love and hate probably at the same time. So then I just hit return my return key, or if you have an extended keyboard, the enter key will do the same thing. And there we are in Safari. But what if I want to log into a special place on, oh, did I say Safari? I meant Amazon. What if I want to go to a special place on Amazon that this general web page is not providing? So let's see what Carolyn has to say. And good. So Carolyn, if you have any tips, just feel free to chime in. We appreciate the community out there, and you guys will have ideas that maybe I didn't think of. So here we are. Now you'll notice up here in the left-hand corner, it says Amazon. And just above that, in what we're going to discuss in a few short seconds, is the favorites bar. So these are favorites that I have added to Amazon. So a favorite is a bookmark that I've said, you're my favorite. So what I really wanted to go to was Amazon Smile. So I can't just type AM and get to Amazon Smile. I have to go to a different URL. So now when I click on Amazon Smile, you'll notice right here in the upper left-hand corner, it now says Amazon Smile, and I am supporting a charity. So a few pennies of everything that I spend goes to that charity without any expense to me. So that's a reason to have a bookmark for a site that you go to frequently, because it's not the site that you would get by just typing in the beginning letters of the address, the URL. Okay, does that make sense? Of course, at any time as we're going along, please feel free to type in questions, and I will check the comments. And remember, those questions take a few seconds to get to me, like maybe 30 seconds. So I don't see them as soon as you type them, but I'll keep back checking them. I'll keep checking back, something like that. Okay, so we have talked about how sometimes you want to use a bookmark to get to a specific place. And we used Amazon as that example. Okay, so we are talking about Safari bookmarks today. And bookmarks will work on any browser. So if you're using Chrome, you're using Firefox, Opera, Brave, Lion, there's lots of different browsers out there, but we, for security reasons, are going to concentrate on Safari because that is the safest place that you can be on the internet. Okay, so here we are on Safari. And where are those bookmarks hiding on Safari? And again, what we're talking about here will apply generally to all other browsers, but there's going to be some slight differences. So today we're going to talk about Safari on the Mac. I get all choked up just thinking about it. We're going to talk about Safari on the iPad. We're going to talk about Safari on the iPhone. And we're going to talk about how iCloud fits into this big picture. So here you see the Safari logo that will appear in your dock at the bottom of your screen. So we're going to start off with Safari on the Mac. So let's talk about bookmarks versus favorites. So as I actually mentioned already, favorites are bookmarks that you've told them to be favorites. So the general term is bookmarks, and then bookmarks that you want to treat specially are made favorites. So let's look at how we might do that. Okay, so here we are back at our computer. So if I go up here to the search/URL field and I type in AY, what do I get? Well, I get YouTube. Okay, so when I hit return, I go to YouTube. So there we are. Oh, look, Go for Lunch is live now on YouTube. So that's wonderful. But if I want to go directly to my channel on YouTube, I have to set up a favorite to do that. Okay? So, first of all, I have to get to that channel, or I'm sorry, I have to get to that website here. Okay? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over here to the little picture in the upper right hand corner. So that's your identity on Google. So if you have a Gmail address, you have a Google account. So this is my Google account. But wait, this is not my GoFor Tech account where my YouTube channel lives. So I have to go down here to switch account. So when I click on that, then I can go to, well, wouldn't you know, they are not showing me all my accounts. So most of you won't have this a problem because you don't have that many accounts. So this is my main Google account, but I don't want that. I need to go to 1Password and put in my master password. Here we go. Hit return. Okay, so now, as you can see, I have a bunch of Google accounts. So I have to scroll down here and go to the GoFor Tech. Now the reason GoFor Tech is spelled differently is because GoFor TECH was taken already in Google, so I had to improvise. Okay, so there's GoFor Tech, and you notice here I don't have to put @gmail.com. I could just put the first part of the address in there, and Google is happy with that. So now it put in my password, and you can see up here it says gofortech@gmail.com. So Google added GoFor. Bop bop. Okay, now I wasn't planning on doing all of this, so now I can check my ZTE device, which is my only Android device, or I can go to open Gmail on my iPhone, the Gmail app. So I wasn't planning on doing this. This worked fine in rehearsal. And so here we are on my iPhone. And I'm going to my, what does it say? My Gmail app. So I didn't know it was my Google app. So again, on your iPhone, we get this over here where you can see it. You swipe down from the center to search. And then at the top, I put in G. And then I put in M. And then I get the, you can't see it, but I got the M for mail. So I go in there. And at the bottom it says signed in as GoFor Tech, and then I get a new screen. Isn't that pretty? Okay, so that didn't work. Excuse me. And then I get a choice of no, it's not me, or yes. So I click on yes. And now you'll notice here, as we go back to our computer screen, we are in, like Flynn. Okay, so sorry for that little distraction, but what we're trying to do here is we are trying to go to my specific channel on YouTube. So again, I click on my picture up here, and if you don't have a picture, it will have your initial up here, and then I simply go down here to your channel, which is my channel. So there we are, there's my channel. So now I want to make this a favorite. So what I'll do is I'll click up here in the URL field. There's the actual URL, the web address, and you can see that it is much longer than it appears until you click on it. So then I'm going to right click on it and I'm going to copy it. So now it's in my clipboard. Okay, so now how do you add a bookmark? Well, you'll notice up here the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 thing over from the Apple logo, the Apple menu in the upper left-hand corner, it says Bookmarks. So when you click on that, you get some functions at the top, and then you get a list of all your bookmarks below that. So if I want to add a bookmark, I go down here to add a bookmark. Notice you have a keyboard shortcut. So if you're adding a lot of bookmarks, you could be more productive by using Command D. D as in Delta. So if I click here on Add a Bookmark, then it's defaulting to adding this bookmark to the favorites bar. So we're going to talk about this a little later, but I'm just going to make this really as short as I can. So I'm going to call this GoFor, and I'm going to hit delete on the correct keyboard. In fact, I think to make it even smaller, I'm going to make it GoFor YT, as in YouTube. There we go. And now I'm going to add it. So when you add a bookmark to your favorites bar, it goes to the very end. So we'll talk about where to find that right now. So I'm going to click on Add. And as you can see, there is nothing here at the end that says GoFor YT. But there is these two little arrows. Those little, those are called arrows in Apple land. So now, when I click on the little arrows, those are my overflow favorites. And look here at the bottom. It says GoFor YT. So how can I get that up to where I want it? Well, can I just grab it? And, well, that's interesting. That didn't work. So we're going to go back here to our overflow. We're going to try to grab it and drag it. And I must admit that I did not. Okay, so there's another way to do this. So remember, 3, 2, 1, backup strategy. Okay, so we're going to get rid of that page by doing a Command W. W for window, get rid of windows. Okay. So how are we going to get that bookmark up here in this crowded favorites area where we can see it? Well, we're going to click on Bookmarks in the menu bar again, and then we're going to go down to Edit Bookmarks. Okay, Edit Bookmarks. Now, so you can see up here, the first thing is the favorites. You can also see that it's favorites because it has a little star. So we'll click on the little arrow here, which will open up the favorites, which is essentially a folder. And now we will use our scroll wheel on our mouse and look down here at the very bottom. You see the YouTube GoFor YT. Now you see the blue line. We're going up, 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 up. We're going to bump to the top, and it's going to keep on scrolling if I don't push the wrong button on the mouse. There it is. It's kind of tricky here. Okay, so now we're all the way at the top. So you can see there's Amazon Smile. And you can also see this double line. So when you see the double line, it's going to put it inside a folder. Okay, so we want to put this, let's put it right after G voice. Well, let's put it before, okay? So if it's a blue line, it's going to go in the regular list. If it's a double line, like here, it will go inside that folder. But I still have control, so I can get out of that folder, go down here above G voice, let go, and now look, up here in my favorites bar is GoFor YT. So now when I want to go to my exact YouTube channel, I click on GoFor YT, and there I am. So if that wasn't clear, then I know there was a lot of steps there. Please ask a clarifying question. So while we wait for any questions, I want to say hi to Stanley, and I am doing very well. Glad to have you here today with us. Okay, so we've talked about bookmarks versus favorites. We've talked about how to, oh, wait, we haven't talked about how to display the favorites bar. So sometimes when I'm looking at your computer over your shoulder, I do not see the favorites bar. So let's find out, if you do not see the favorites bar, how to view it. So you go up here to the menu bar, and the counting the apple, 1, 2, 3, 4, the fourth thing over. I guess that's 5. Anyway, so see right now it says hide favorites bar. So if your Safari looks like this and there's no favorites bar, you simply go to view and you show favorites bar. Okay? So that's how you make sure that you can see that favorites bar in case it disappears. And I don't know why it disappears. It seems like sometimes a web page turns it off or something. I'm not certain, but I have seen it not be there many times. So you go to the view menu and you show the favorites bar. Okay, so how do we edit favorites? So editing favorites is important because, as you could see here on my computer, I have more favorites than I can display, and I have a 32-inch wide screen. So the point of editing your favorites is to make them as short as possible so you can see as many as possible. So let's find out how to do that. So when you do a regular add bookmark and you don't edit it, then it's going to show you a really long name and take up a lot of space, and you're robbing yourself of seeing as many of those favorites in the favorites bar of bookmarks as possible. So let's find out how we fix that problem. Okay, so let's look at this one. So here's one called Puerto Penasco. Now this is actually, you can see a little arrow here, hopefully, a little down arrow, and that indicates that this is not just one bookmark, this is a bookmarks folder. So we're going to talk about folders here a little later. So now, if I right-click on this, I have a choice here to rename. So if I click on that, then I can just rename it. So I know what Puerto Penasco means when I type in P. So I'm going to hold down my Shift key and hit the P key, P Papa key twice. So now you see, I don't know if you notice it, but the bookmarks all moved over because we have now shortened the name in our favorites bar. So now we have more room. Okay, does that make sense? I hope so. So let's see. So Carolyn has a comment here. Let's bring that up so we can all see it. So she thought that you could just go to the bookmarks edit and delete bookmarks you don't want anymore. Yes, you can do that, and we will do that here in a moment. So good point. Okay. So we are doing this Safari on the Mac. We talked about our view menu. We talked about show and edit favorites. We shortened the labels. And now we're going to talk about exactly what Carolyn brought up, and that is how to edit any bookmark. So again, we're going to go back here to Safari, and we're going to click on bookmarks up in the very top in the menu bar. And here's all of our bookmarks. So let's see if there's some bookmarks here that we don't want. So I'm going to go down here. Oh my goodness. Here is Segway of Tucson. So Segway of Tucson was a company that was located on 4th Avenue, and they gave Segway tours of Tucson. And they're not there anymore. They're out of business, sad to say. So what do I do to get rid of this bookmark? I right click and nothing happened. Okay, so you can see here that website is no longer here. So we'll go back here to bookmarks and we go to edit bookmarks. Okay, so now I go find Segway of Tucson. There it is. And I click on it to highlight it, and then I can just hit the delete key and you see that it is gone. Okay, so let's see if there's anything else here. So most of these things I want to keep, but I have been saving a few just for you guys so I can demonstrate this. So one way to delete them is just to highlight them so that they turn blue or whatever color you have on your machine for highlighting. The other way I can do it is right click and go down to delete, and now transporter is gone. So that is how we can edit any bookmark. So let's switch gears a little bit, and we're going to go over here to our iPad, which is, as you can see, black. So the first thing we have to do is turn it on. Okay, so I'm going to actually get back to the home screen, and now you can see my iPad. So down in the dock, just like on the Mac, we have the Safari compass icon. We tap on that, and here we are in Safari on the iPad. So I'm using the iPad because it's easier for you to see. Everything I'm doing on the iPad will work the same way on the iPhone. So that's the story. Okay, well, look here. Up here, which I can't really highlight, is the favorites bar. So you see the top line where it says apple.com. That's your toolbar, and immediately below that is the same favorites bar that we saw on our Mac. Well, isn't that convenient? Because of iCloud. So iCloud takes whatever you do on the Mac, it's over there, and goes up to the iCloud and back down to your iPhone and your iPad. Keeps everything synchronized, like gears running together like that. Okay? So pretty much the bookmarks work pretty much the same. So let's look at some of the differences. So now, if I want to add a bookmark, I would hit the share sheet. Okay, so if you look into the upper right hand corner, right below the signal strength bar, there's a blue square with an arrow coming out of the box and pointing up. That is the share sheet. When I click on that, you will see down at the bottom, the second to the bottom, I can add it as a bookmark. The bottom option, at least right now, is add to favorites. So I could add it to that favorites bar. But again, we have that favorites bar all filled up, so it would add it to the overflow. So we would have to clean that up to see it. Now, if I scroll even more, I have some more options here. I could add it to the home screen. It could be an icon on the home screen, just like Safari is an icon and Mail is an icon. So that's another option for going to places that you go to frequently. Like that would be a good, you could use Amazon Smile on your desktop. And you wouldn't even have to open Safari. You could just hit the icon on your desktop and it would open Safari and go to Amazon Smile. So that's how you add bookmarks. So Bob made a comment here, and we're going to test this out. So Bob mentioned that it gets rid of bookmarks on the Mac, I think is what you're referring to, but when you go to Bookmarks, it's still there because it's synced via iCloud. iCloud keeps bringing it back. Okay, so good question. Let's test that theory, Bob. So we're going to go back to our iPad, and we're going to look at our bookmarks. So I'm going to click on the share sheet to get rid of this drop-down menu. So it's gone. I'm going to click on the little blue book icon that's on the upper left-hand corner. Hope you all see that. It's a blue, looks like an open book. We tap on that, and here are all of our bookmarks on the left. So now as we scroll down, we are looking for Segway of Tucson, and we are looking for trans, whatever that other one was, trans something. And I don't see them, Bob. So the ones that we deleted on the Mac are also deleted on the iPad. So it looks like there's a syncing problem with iCloud in your case. So this is working the way it should. So you may be wondering, what are these other icons just below the word bookmarks on the left panel? Well, the spectacles or eyeglasses is your reading list. So if we have something that we want to read later, we can add that to the reading list. And again, this works on the Mac as well as your iOS device. So let's see. Here's the Federal Communications Commission. We have a tab here. That was from a previous program, you may recall. We had all these different kinds of scams. So if I wanted to add this to my reading list, then I would hit the share sheet again in the top right-hand corner, the blue box with the up arrow. And now I would, instead of clicking on Add to Bookmark, I would add to Reading List. And it says automatically save reading list articles for offline reading. And we're going to say save automatically. So the key here is offline reading. Did you catch that? So that means that if you are taking your iPhone or iPad somewhere where there is no internet and you have placed something in your reading list, it's in your device. So you can read it without being connected to the internet. Nice feature, don't you think? Okay, so I see your question, Leslie Ann, and we will get to that in just a moment. So now, if you'll notice on the left-hand side where it says reading list, the top entry there is the FCC spam glossary. So if I wanted to get rid of that, I would simply swipe from right to left, tap on delete, and that's how you edit your reading list. So Leslie Ann wants to know, how do I get my favorites bar on my iPad? And so Leslie Ann, if you notice up here on top of the reading list column, there's that blue icon that's supposed to look like an open book. It's highlighted blue. So that's how we get to our reading list, and that's how we get to our bookmarks, and that is also how we get to our history. Well, look, our history is up to date because the first thing in our history that we looked at on our Mac is Tucson Segway. So whatever history we did or whatever websites we looked at on our Mac also synced up through that old iCloud back down to the iPad. So we have a current history no matter what device we're on, all because of the miracle of iCloud. So hopefully that does cover your question, Leslie Ann. So Bob is back with another question or two. So let's see here what Bob has to say. I see bookmarks in my bookmarks menu that I have deleted. They no longer appear in the edit bookmarks page, but are still there in the bookmarks menu. And he follows that up with, he has been told that he needs to sign out of iCloud on all devices, edit the bookmarks, and then sign back in. Bob, I'm afraid that's the solution. However, I don't think you have to edit when you're signed out. I believe that just signing out of everything will sync all those edits automatically, and you don't have to edit while you're signed out. That's the way it's worked for me in the past anyway. Of course, these things change, so who knows. So Leslie Ann says, under the URL are tabs, not a line of favorites. So you're talking about on your iPad. Okay, so let's go back and look at our iPad. Appreciate your question. So, let's see here. Let's get the right pointing device. So you're not seeing on your iPad your favorites bar. So let's explore this. So at the very right of your iPad, there are 3 horizontal dots, also known as an ellipse, I believe. So we're going to tap on that. And so there's your favorites list. So one possibility that we will look at here is we're going to hit our home button on our iPad. We're going to go to settings. We're going to go to Safari. So you see here in the center on the left column is your familiar Safari compass icon in blue with the word Safari to the right. And we're going to go here. So this is what you need to check, Leslie Ann. You see where it says favorites, and then below that it says show favorites bar, and there's a switch. So if we turn that off, we double click, go back to our Safari, and that's why you can't see your favorites, because that switch is turned off. You see the favorites aren't there now. Double click to get back to settings again, and we turn that switch, so show favorites bar, back on, so it's green, and we double click, go back to Safari, and voila, the favorites are there. So you don't have any dots. No dots. That's interesting. Well, I don't have an answer to that no dots question. So I am on iOS 14.5.1, but I don't think that would make a difference. I think those dots have been there for a long time. But get a hold of me offline and we will look at that. Okay, so Carolyn has an excellent question. I'm sorry for the answer, Carolyn. Is there a way to alphabetize sites within a bookmark folder or even a list of bookmarks? And the answer, as far as I know, and this has been the way it has been for years, is no. So you have to physically drag those around. So I'll show you how to do that. It's not any fun. So you see here I have a list. So here's like at the top, here's Tucson Originals, and then something starting with an F, something starting with a K, something starting with an S. And you would think that you go up here. So we're in, make sure we're in Edit Bookmarks. So I believe we are in Edit Bookmarks because it doesn't say Edit Bookmarks, right? But there's no function there to, well, let's try to show bookmarks, see what happens there. Okay, here's bookmarks. So that just showed the pane here on the left, which is similar to what we've seen on the iPad, same idea. You've got your reading list, you got your bookmarks list. On the Mac, the way you get rid of that and clear up more screen area for your pages is you click on this little icon up here under View, and so that toggles your left pane for reading lists and bookmarks on. You click it again, and it toggles it off. So unfortunately, I don't know of a way to alphabetize your bookmarks. There may be some third-party app that does that. Something is popping into my brain that's saying that if you export your bookmarks, you could put them in a program like Numbers, possibly, and then in Numbers you could alphabetize them and then import them back into Safari. And I'm just guessing at that. It's been a long time since I've tried that, but that might work. Okay, so let's see what else we have to talk about. Yeah. Okay, well, good news from Leslie Ann. She has dots now that she turned on the thingy. Woohoo! Or Yahoo. That's a trade name. You better be careful when you say Yahoo. They might sue you. Just kidding. Okay, so Apple needs a librarian on staff. Any volunteers out there? Okay, so let's kind of review what we talked about, and we can do all these things. If you have any questions on these, we can go over them again. Again, you could edit the bookmarks pretty much the same way on the iPad. So we didn't show that, so let's go back and look at that real quick. So here we are on the iPad. If I wanted to edit a bookmark, I would do a long press. So I would hold down my finger or my Apple Pencil on time zone. So you see time zone, and that didn't work. Okay, so what I have to do here is click on bookmarks in the left panel. Then I have to click on favorites to open up the favorites folder. Then I would go down here to time zone, and that's where I do the long press. I was a little confused there. So there's a picture of the actual website, and on the right I have the option to either delete it at the very bottom in red, or above that it says edit. So I click on edit, and now I can make that TZ. Will Roger remember that TZ means time zone? Then I click the done key there on the keyboard, the big blue done key. And now when we look up here in the top, you see that it's now called TZ. So that's the way we do that. So, librarians unite. So I knew we had several librarians here. So that's why I threw that out. You took my hook, took my bait. Okay. So we pretty much talked about organizing bookmarks, except for one little thing, and that is folders. So let's run back over here to the Mac and look at how we do folders. So in advance, so I'm going up here to the top of the bookmarks. So I'm in bookmarks again. I went to bookmarks up here, and I went to well, I'm going to go to show bookmarks so I can go back to show you how to edit bookmarks. So I guess I'm editing bookmarks because I don't see the option here to edit. So I'm in the edit mode, which is where I want to be. Okay, so previously, when you weren't looking, I created a folder, which is very easy to do. All you do is you can do it several ways. You can go up here to Well, I guess you can't do it that way. Okay. Over here on the right, you see over here on the right where the cursor is going in circles around new folder. So if I want a new folder, I just click on this, and of course it puts the new folder down here at the bottom. But because it's very difficult, as you saw before, to move these things around because you cannot alphabetize them, I'm just going to click on this. I'm going to right click. I'm going to delete that untitled folder because I have a new folder right here called photography. So if we go up here to our folders, you can see here is photography. Okay, following me? So now I have a couple things that I want to put in photography. So down here is Camera Club of Tucson. So I grab it on the icon. You should always grab these things on the icon, not the file name. And I simply drag it up here and drop it down there, and it's inside the photography folder. What else do I have here that pertains to photography? Let's see. Is there anybody see anything else here? I know there's something else here. I just can't find it. So that's why you want to organize your bookmarks into folders, because it's easier to find things. There it is, the Canon T4i manual. So I have a Canon T4i camera, and I want to put that in my photography folder. So again, I grab it on the icon, I go up, you see the blue line means it's going to go where I stop. I get up a little higher, come on, move, there we go. And there's my photography folder, and I just drop it on there, and look, I have Camera Club of Tucson, I have Canon, and I clicked on it, and it opened up that website. Okay, so that is how you create folders and then drop bookmarks into folders. So maybe we have an answer here from Susan. And so Susan may have found something, and so maybe we'll talk about that next week, or I'll put it in the GoFor Gazette as a note. How would that be? Okay, so we talked about folders, and I showed you how to delete the folder. That's the same procedure as deleting a bookmark. So we've deleted some unneeded bookmarks already. So this would be a good time to ask any additional questions about bookmarks or anything else that you want to know about. And I have a question for you. What would you like to see on future GoFor Lunch topics? And while we're waiting for that, I would like to encourage you to share the GoFor Gazette, which comes out every Monday morning around 7 a.m. Mountain Standard Time, with your friends, with your family, with your neighbors, with anyone who uses technology made for or by Apple. So that would help me, help other people, and that's my whole goal here, is to help you make your technology work for you, right? So, as always, have mask will travel. Dum 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 dum. And there's another reference. Nobody responded to my 54 Where Are You reference. So I guess you people are all just spring chickens, I guess. You don't remember the television show Car 54, Where Are You? So that was a long time ago. Probably when I was working at Channel 4 as a director, watching dumb shows between making commercials. Okay. Stanley has an idea. A class on how to use the Files app on iPad. Stanley, that is an excellent idea. So there is a Files app, which a lot of people don't even know exists. And it didn't exist until fairly recently, last year or two. And it's another way to coordinate information on your Mac and your iPad. So Leslie Ann says no, but she remembers Tootie. Yeah, that was a lot later than Car 54. Where are you, I think? Maybe I'm not getting your reference. So that wraps it up for today. So I'm glad that all of you were able to attend. And thank you for the great questions. Thank you for the great community. And if you haven't already, if you wouldn't mind, subscribe down below here. Oops, down below here, down there. And ring that little bell, and you'll be notified whenever we put something on YouTube. Sometimes we do go for briefings that we don't announce, that just pop up. And hopefully that will be useful information for you. So have a great rest of your Tuesday, and we will see you next week on Go for Lunch at high noon.